Well, if you've ever lost a cat and you wonder where it's gone to, you've probably been in touch with the RSPCA. But there's also another organisation called the Cats Protection League, and it's made up of volunteers all over the country who actually look after and care for stray and missing cats. And we've come over to a location at Monkston, which is midway between Andover and Salisbury, to meet with Heather Hodgson, who actually runs this centre for cats and kittens. And we're going to go and find Heather through here. So we'll put the number up later so you can actually call Heather direct. But if you follow me... Good afternoon, Heather. Thanks for inviting us to your home.
Okay, you're more than welcome.
So what do we have here? It's quite amazing.
Well, yes, these are some of the rescue pens that are owned locally by the Andover and District Cats Protection League, where the unwanted cats and kittens are put until new homes can be found for them, or until, with a lot of them, they've been rehabilitated and suitable for new homes, because we don't really put out anything that we don't feel is suitable for rehoming.
Sure, you're telling me you've got kittens here as well, and I can see two beautiful specimens over there looking at me.
Yes, there's a litter of kittens in there that are nearly ready for homing. They've had a bit of a setback, but they're on their way now. They've had veterinary care.
Tell me about the Cats Protection League. I think it's a wonderful organisation.
The Cats Protection League is it's a nationwide organisation that covers the whole of the country, with voluntary groups forming separate self-funded groups, throughout the country. The main concerns of the Cats Protection League really is the welfare of cats and kittens, whether they're ones that need in rehoming or whether they're just in general sort of a need of care or advice from people that have got them and maybe can't afford to get them neutered or get proper veterinary care, or just need advice on how to look after them.
How did you get into all this yourself? Just starting with one, did you?
Well, not really, no. I mean, I've been involved with cats sort of 20-odd years I've had cats and been a member of the Cats Protection League. But I think it was really after moving to this area from London, and I wasn't working, that I had the time to actually sort of devote a bit more into voluntary capacity.
You work with a local vet anyway, do you?
I work at one of the local vets, and of course you're in the front line then for unwanted pets when they come through, or people that are a little bit out of their depth because their animals are bred and they don't really know what to do with all the kittens.
Has it been difficult since the RSPCA moved away from Andover?
It's made it a little bit more difficult nationally, I think, because the people find it very difficult to contact the RSPCA. The number is constantly engaged, but I always tell people to sort of plug away at it and just keep dialing until they get through. But, we try to work as much as possible with the RSPCA, and we're much closer for local people to actually contact. And if a stray is picked up and handed into the vets, which they invariably are, then it's more local for people then, if because we do try to reunite strays as much as possible back with their owners. We are a little bit tied in that way, because obviously every advert that we put in costs us money, but the local paper are very good and they're very supportive, and they will sort of help us as much as they can to try and locate the owners.
You're saying you get some wild cats in here with litters of kittens?
We do, yes. We go out at the sort of end of the year, in the winter time, as much as possible. A lot of the work is involved in going round to any farms that need or ask for our help, or we sort of find out if there's a farm where we can go out and perhaps help them control the numbers that they've got, and the factory sites and the army camps, because there's a lot of army sort of camps around here where... I
suppose people on the move all the time.
People on the move, and if the cat's not there, it tends to perhaps get overlooked, or it's perhaps a problem to take it, and somebody else is going to look after it, and then they also get a posting. So we have had problems in the past with sort of trying to clear these sites and control the numbers. In the main, we try to do a trap, neuter and return if there's a known food source, but if there isn't, then, or if they're heavily pregnant, there's really no mileage in putting them back, because then you've got the problem in 6 months' time.
So if somebody's cat goes missing, is there a likelihood it may be here?
There's a likelihood it may be handed in, yes. I mean, sometimes you'll get people's cats that have got into a car and gone a little bit further than they should, and then people realise they let it out, or, people pick up a cuddly kitten and sort of children perhaps will play with it and then put it down a bit far away from home. So we do have a fairly, good success rate in reuniting lost cats with their owners, if the owners are trying to find them, quite often.
Cats do tend to sort of fend for themselves, don't they?
Well, I think
to a certain extent.
Yes, to a certain extent, but I think if it's a pet that has been used to a certain lifestyle and having its food provided and its comforts provided, it finds it a bit tough. And of course there is the fallacy that, a cat will fend for itself. And we do find litters of kittens which have been dumped, which presumably, the owners have thought, oh, well, I'll dump it in Harewood Forest because there's plenty of wildlife there. But I mean, they aren't going to survive the night temperatures as the winter progresses.
And as you say, with winter coming on.
That's right, yes. If we do get any that prove to be not tame for rehoming, then we keep them till the spring, wait till the weather gets better, and then look around for suitable outside locations where people will feed them but want something to control the rodent population. So we put them out to stables and warehouses and places like that where we know they're going to be cared for.
Well, Heather, you've been telling me you often roam around at night at 2 o'clock in the morning with one of these things. What does this do?
Well, quite often we get a call, or we'll hear of a colony of cats that need trapping and neutering.
Yeah.
If they're actually got a food source, we'll trap, neuter, and what we call trap, neuter and return. But in order to catch them, because they're not tame, we need to use these humane traps, which we set. Well, if they're in someone's garden, that's not a problem.
Right.
We can show the people how to set them, and then leave them until they've caught the right cat, or they've finished catching the hedgehogs, and then they'll perhaps start catching the right cat.
Yeah.
But if we're going out to an inhabited place where there's a colony, then we have to stay with the trap. So we usually go out in pairs and settle down with a flask and keep setting the trap. And each time we get something in one of the traps, we transfer it into a transfer cage and then reset the trap.
So how do you set the trap then?
Well, it's reasonably straightforward. The food has to go at the back, directly on the bottom of the cage, and then the trap is actually quite simple to set. I mean, they get a bit of a pounding when some of the bigger cats go in. They
get a wildcat and they must make a bit of a...
round and round. But the idea is that you're sitting away, and then the cats will come in. You put a slight lure into the trap, and then as it goes to get the main part of the food and it steps on the pressure pad, it shuts itself in. And these are whisper traps, which are quiet. So if you've got a lot of cats to catch, then you're not going to sort of, get them trap shy, because if they go bang, then the rest have disappeared into the middle distance, and you can sit there for hours then waiting for them to have the confidence to come back for the food. But we do actually maintain feral colonies once we've trapped and neutered them. If they've gone back to a source where the food may be a little bit of a problem for them to provide, then a lot of the donated food that we get, we will actually then pass on to the feral colonies for the people to put out for them. So we always maintain a colony if we put it back and make sure that it is fed and not abandoned.
Which brings me to another point. What the Cats Protection League need is money, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. Money and goods for resale, so that we can get out and raise the money to continue the work that we've been doing in the end.
For nothing, right?
We work for nothing. We give up all our time voluntarily. So we just need the money really to pay the vet's bills and the food bills, and to keep the equipment, either improving the equipment or enlarging what we have got to make it better for the cats while they're in our care.
Okay, so at the end of the show, we'll put up the number. So make sure you viewers, Salisbury, Andover, Romsey, all those points, ring Heather, send some money in for the Cats Protection League.
Absolutely. It's become a member of the group.
Yeah, right.
Yes, we've got a membership scheme, and it's £5 a year.
Yeah, right.
And that we'll send you a newsletter and an update on all what we're doing in the area.
Okay, smashing. Thanks. We're going to go and look over there now.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Right, Heather, what's the name of this one? I understand you give everyone individual names.
Yes, we give them all names, and this one's called Gabby, and the rest of her litter are in the pen in there.
So are you looking for homes for them?
Well, these kittens have all been booked now
really?
To go to new homes. There's a litter in the other pen which aren't yet ready to go. We try to take sort of reservations on the kittens when they get to about 8 weeks, and then let them go at 10 weeks, because we feel the longer they're with the mothers, the better job the mothers can do than we can do. But we do have orphaned kittens as well that we hand rear. We don't do the hand rearing here because it's a night and day job, but we have got one lady that sort of stays up all the time with the hand-reared kittens until their feeds are, more spaced apart.
They must almost regard you as a mother, I would have thought.
Well, the hand-rears do, yes. They get very imprinted, and therefore we have to then find homes for them where people are either at home all day or have got other cats that they'll sort of, or they go in pairs. We never home those where they're going to be alone in the daytime, because they've never been left at all.
This litter you found in a part of Andover, you were telling me?
Yes, this is from a part of Andover, and the ones in the other pen with the wild mother have come from Colin Vaughan Ducis. They were in a shed in the garden, and it's just a never-ending problem, really, going around and answering the calls of people that get stray cats in there, especially at this time of the year. We're just coming to the end now, but through the summer, every stray cat that we get sort of called out to, invariably, if it's a female, will have either be pregnant or have a litter of kittens somewhere tucked away that we have to find.
So obviously you advise people to get their cats neutered, right?
Every time. If you want a pet, then it's a neutered animal is the right pet. I don't really feel that the old wives' tale about a female cat is better off for having had a litter of kittens, because we've got female cats that live here that have had kittens, and they're nowhere near as homely or as docile and placid as the female cats that were neutered at 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
So if somebody wants a kitten and you've got some spare, how do they get in touch with you?
Yes, they can apply to us, and we'll go through the normal procedures of finding out what type of home is on offer. We don't believe that there is such a thing as a good free home, so we do make a nominal charge, and the kittens and the cats go out on an adoption procedure where we are doing checks before and after. And with the kittens, we are always going to check that has been neutered at 6 months.
Okay, so can you give us a telephone number?
Yes, they can reach me here on Andover, 710-013.
710-013.
That's right, and there's an answer phone if no one's here.
Okay, so that's Heather Hodgson at the Cats Protection League here in Monkston. But give her a buzz, just repeat the number once more.
It's Andover, 710-013.
710-013, and Gabby's having a great time there. So thanks very much for talking to us. It's absolutely amazing thing you're doing here. Thanks very much.
There's a lot of satisfaction in doing it too.
Okay. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.